Hello, my gorgeous souls, and welcome to another episode of Effortlessly Abundant Life. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Okay, so this weekend, a little kind of life update. We went to pick up some strawberries. As you know, my 2-year-old son, I don't know if you know, but he's obsessed with fruits, especially lately with strawberries. The amount of strawberry boxes that he goes through is just mind blowing. So I decided, you know what? It's time to get him into a real field of strawberries where he's going to pick up his own strawberries. He's going to eat them as he goes and collect them. And now I think we have enough strawberries for a good week or so. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. But I highly recommend if you have kids or not, just go out there. Go out there and talk to the farmers, go out there and pick up your own vegetables and fruits and just see where it comes from. I feel like as a generation and also the younger generations, we forget where our food comes from. We really think, and some of the young, either, kids or young adults think that food comes from the grocery store. Like Trader Joe actually provides you the food. Like, no, the food comes from Mother Nature. And I always also think about like how cool would that be to have a fruit tree everywhere. So homeless people, people that are hungry, they don't need to be hungry because there's so much food everywhere. And it's not this very, how would I say that, very controlled industry that is not really make sense, to be honest with you. But that's a different subject. But in the subject of awareness, we're going to talk about the grand awakening. We're going to talk about one of the things that I shared in my latest stories that completely blew up. I posted as a reel, I posted it everywhere, and people were DMing me and people were reaching out, telling me, like, oh my God, you're so right. I feel the same. And I just decided to sit down and talk to you about this and go deeper with this podcast. I feel like we're ready. I feel like it's not just about getting the things, manifesting things, being a better person, getting to the next level, whatever that looks like. That is great. But as humanity, we're shifting, we're moving, we're evolving, we're expanding, and literally changing. And it's time to address it. It's time to address the big elephant in the room. And what I said in this story slash reel, I was expressing how we kind of like pretend like everything is normal. We're just go to our normal job, working from 9 to 5, seeing our kids maybe like an hour or two a day, go numb ourselves, watching reels and TikToks or some show on Netflix, and then we go to sleep and then we do the same all over again. And for 40 years, and we kind of like in this cycle of this pretending, and like it's normal to go to the doctor office, and it's normal to go to the supermarket for your food, and it's normal to go out there and have so many clothes and so many shoes and wear all these like outfits and pretend like all these bags and designer bags and pretend and it's just like I feel this superficial and this pretendness and this make life look normal. It's just not normal anymore. I hope you understand what it comes through me. It's not that I'm judging you or me or society as a whole. I just expressing how I feel because I totally been that girl that was all about the outfits. I was all about the designer bags. I was all about like look a certain way, be a certain way. And I am no longer willing to live life that is not authentic. And I just want to talk to you about this. And this living like life in an authentic way is what I call the grand awakening that we all experience on a personal level and also on a global level. And I feel since 2020, you feel it. You feel the shift. you feel like life is not the same like you used to. Things are happening faster. Crazy things are happening. Things you never thought you're going to be aware of. You just feel like the things that used to interest you are no longer interesting you for you. The conversations that you thought you're going to have or you had and you were also involved are no longer like you don't even want to have these conversations. The people, let's talk about people that you used to be best friends or could be like even your family member are no longer people that you resonate with and you can't even have a true dialogue with them although you love them, but they're no longer your people. They're no longer the people that you feel that truly gets you and truly are in the same, I don't want to say level, but in the same frequency as you. And it's hard. And I want to kind of share with you kind of what happened to me and my awakening process. And I feel like I had like four major awakening quantum leap experiences. And I feel it's going to happen even faster and more kind of intense as the time goes because I feel, and I'm sure you guys feel it from 2020, time just goes by so fast. Everything happening really faster and more intense. So buckle up, guys. Buckle up. And I really want this podcast and I want this outlet of effortlessly abundant life to be an outlet for people that want more from life. They do want the abundance. They do want the fulfilling love. They do want a fulfilling career and living in their purpose, but also expand their soul, feeling like they have a community of people that are talking their same language. They feel them, they know them. They're not like these, you know, spiritual people that just live on a mountain and they're completely out, like they're not in tune with reality, what we call, but also they're not the people that are corporate 9 to 5. They're very rigid, they're very mind focused, and they're just not though in those two, and they want both. Like they want the spiritual, they want the abundance, they want the physical kind of representation of everything they want, but it's not coming from the place of showing off or doing it for somebody or for something to make them happy. It's just because it's a representation of their expansion, because they want to feel expended through their physical experience. And that is where it's here for. And I feel like we all been dormant, we all been asleep, and we're start to wake ourselves up from everything that we see around us. Like not, let's not pretend that everything is normal. Nothing is normal anymore. And I feel on a spiritual level, my first awakening was in 2017. And I told the story, but I got cheated on from my fiance. And he was my everything, right? For 5 years, we moved in to New York together. We had two dogs together. He was my everything. He was my family. He was my home. And when this whole thing happened, it really truly crushed me. I couldn't, I remember I was doing the things. I was also, I had a really, it was towards the end of my master's degree that I had really major, as you know, tests. And I had to do all these, God knows, I can't even remember. It was so this is the thing when you're going through trauma, it's hard for you to remember the details, but I remember it was in the midst of all these finals that I had to go through, and I'm also I was going through performance degree as well. So I was singing and I was doing major roles, and I was just like literally burying myself with work just so I don't feel. And that was my coping mechanism. I was never into drugs. I was drinking, but it was not like I'm drinking to pass out, or it was just drinking like 2, 3 drinks of max. But my drug was work. I was a workaholic. And, and I remember when I was literally crushing physically because I was just working too hard and I was not listening to myself and I was just eating shit food. And I remember that the depth of my despair, and I remember waking up with this deep grief and anxiety in my chest. And I just felt like my home is no longer there. Like, where is my home? And that is where I created my home within me. That is what started my awakening journey to be open to what more than what is. And I started going to, I remember seeing like commercials from Tony Robbins on Facebook, on Instagram. I believe back then it wasn't like a thing on Instagram to see ads, but it was definitely on Facebook. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. And I was not making a lot that back then. I was, as I said, I was a master's student. I was working part-time. I really didn't have a lot of money, but I made it work. And truly, that was my first step to this world of understanding that I can create my life. An awakening for me is when we no longer give the power or the need from external things, experiences, and people to feel whole, to feel fulfilled, to feel love within ourselves and others. It's when we create everything within us. And that is where my awakening, true awakening, started, because I realized I can no longer build homes outside of me. I need to build a home within me that is always strong, that is always stable, because I'm always going to have me. Always, 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 no matter what. And always questioning I was questioning also religion. I was questioning, Judaism, I was questioning Christianity. I was questioning this, what is my community? Where am I? Because, as you know, I was born in Belarus. I was raised in Israel. I moved here when I was 21 to New York City. Like, who the hell am I? I don't even know who are my people. I was like, I'm Israeli, but not really. I'm not really. I never felt like 100% belong there. I never felt like 100% belong into my Belarusian Russian community. I never felt like 100% belong even to the American society, right? Where is my home? Where are my people? And I realized again, my home is within me. And when I started this relationship with myself, building a home within me that feels good, that feels, that is not this voice of judging constantly and putting myself down, and be kinder, be better, to be softer, to be my best, best, best friend to myself first. That is what I started. And it changed everything for me. So I really went deep, as I said, into Tony Robbins. I went to his Unleash Within. And then I got into the book of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It was truly one of the books that truly opened my eyes, and my soul was like lighted up when I read the understanding, like how every thought that we have that belongs either to the past or future is here to protect us, but it's not the truth. There is a deeper, there's the observer, that is your soul, that is connected to source. That is who you really are. And that is where I started to really realizing, like, hey, I am not what I believe. I don't even know what my all the thoughts and feelings that I had and the anxiety that I experienced. It's not who I am. I can look at it, I can observe it, I can have distance around that and truly choose how I want to feel. And I remember starting my whole meditation journey. I couldn't sit still more than 2 minutes. I felt like I am wasting my time and not being productive. Like, productivity was everything for me. Everything was like by a dot, right? I felt like I always needed to do something that is valuable. Either I'm making money or I am doing something that is benefiting me in some way or capacity. But that is not life of joy. That is not life of where you're truly listening within you, because you're always judging and always making choices, but how it looks like from the outside and not how it feels from the inside. So going through the Tony Robbins, reading the books, and I did also coaching, and I started this process of really learning who I am, understanding like what really runs my ship, right? The beliefs that I held, the values that I held, the thoughts that I kept choosing to think, the feelings that I gave them too much space and running the show for me. And starting to realize like I don't what serves me, what not serves me, and choose the thing that are serving me and let that lead my vehicle, lead my life. That is where I truly woke up. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. How people don't talk about it. I want to scream it outside of the world. Like, who cares about self-development? Like, this is the thing. This is the thing. And as you know, in 2020, that was another huge awakening for me. And this is where so as you know, I also tell the story of how I was so burned out from my sales job. And I remember working like many, many hours, like 14 hours a day, working from 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. every single day, working, selling, and not getting the results that I wanted. And just feeling like a failure, feeling like, what is going on? Why I cannot make and attract the money that I want. And that was a whole thing right there. And I started healing my relationship with money, healing my relationship with abundance, healing my relationship with productivity and my being, and what it means for me to be this abundant version of myself, and how to do sales in a way that feels authentic, that feels like me, that doesn't feel like, I'm like putting a mask and pretending to be the something that I'm not, like how I do it in a way that feels good. And that is the whole thing what happened in 2020, where I was forced to be at home. I was forced to sit at home and be with my thoughts, like not do much, right? We still been working because we're considered to be essential workers in New York City, but obviously not in that capacity. We didn't have all these gatherings, all these social events, and it really forced me to stop and think and go deeper. And that is where I really started understanding like your actions and how much you work and how hard you work doesn't equal to more. And that is where I really started to hone and understand like how I really want to live, like what is important for me. And what was important for me is to be with myself and do things that lay me up and have more space and room to the things that I do love, and let money be supportive of me and not me be a slave for money. That is something that I no longer even want anybody to think or have this thought that you need to sacrifice your health, your mental being, your happiness, and who you are in order to have money. Never, ever, ever, ever. So in 2020, that is what kind of happened to me on the kind of like next level. But moreover, let's talk about like how crazy everything was. The fact that we were forced to wear masks, the fact that we've been forced to get vaccination, the fact that we've been locked inside our home for months and it was all normal. Like that was not normal. And I remember myself like, whoa, something doesn't make sense. And in your heart and your soul, you're kind of like, wait, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I start questioning things and I start to say, you know what? I am not actually going to go out there and get the vaccine. I didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel like this is something that I need to do. And I'm not here to judge anybody that did that, but I'm just sharing to you what went through my mind in case you are have those thoughts. I want you to validate that because that is your intuition speaking to you. If something doesn't feel good to you, if something doesn't feel aligned to you, it is here to serve you, to give you this guidance of how to move through life. And it's not normal for you to put the external and what people think of you more important and a pedestal than your own internal guide, because nobody knows what's best for you. And I been penalized by friends of mine that were next to me, and my partner that we were supposed to go sing in a cruise ship, and they mandated, and I said to him, listen, I'm not comfortable taking the shot. I'm just not comfortable. And I remember like the looks that I would get, and by, let's say, if I didn't wear a mask and everybody around me wore a mask, and I was just like, I'm not going to put a mask. It doesn't make sense to me. Please explain me. How does it make sense to you, knowing that if you put a mask, just like, because we live in New York, right? It's super cold. And when it's super cold and you breathe, like you really see the steams coming out. It's crazy. Yes, it's protect you from saliva, from somebody speaking to you, and obviously they're talking too passionately and fluids coming out. But other than that, like, I'm not gonna put a mask and breathe my own breath and just kind of like not let myself breathe fresh air, like fresh air, sunlight, communication, affection, connection is the most important human needs that we've been taught that are not important. They are important. They're part of your freedom. That's part of who you are. So then I start questioning, like, what the hell is going on here? It just doesn't make sense. And it went into this whole rabbit hole. And I started listening to people that were talking about people that were in politics, that get out of politics and talk about how everything is truly, it's almost like programmed and be planned to be that way. And there is a reason why they're doing it, to control us. And I was going into this whole thing and realizing, wow, the government is not here to save us. The health industry is not here to save us. The wars that we experience is not because what they sell us this idea that it's to protect us. It's all been created in order to control us, in order to profit from us. It's all this game that we've been taught, like, oh, you would choose the right wing or the left wing, and this is better than this, whatever your political views is, where both sides are corrupt. Both sides are coming from the same, let's say, source, the same place, the same umbrella. And it doesn't matter who you choose, because it's all about dividing us. When in reality, we all need to see and understand, like, we are the power. We are here to create the life that we want. We don't need anybody to save us. We don't need anybody to do anything for us. We are here for ourselves and for one another as community. And we completely lost that. And it's interesting. Now we are in 2024 and even 2023, like nobody even talks about it. Like nothing happened. The fact that we've been forced to do it, that people lost their jobs, that people lost their friends, people willingly lost their family members because of their ideology or because they were questioning, God forbid, something that just like been told them they need to do, and they start questioning what's best for their bodies. And now we're seeing everything that comes out, like it's not 100% was okay what happened. And now you can see what happening with Dr. Fauci about all the allegations that are going around, and all the things that he said about the 6 feet apart, that it was just completely made up. And 100% the masks were not here to protect us. It was all just what they decided to create and divide us even more. How are we okay with that? How are we okay that this is what happened to us? That elderly were separated from their grandkids and from their kids, that my grandmother passed away by herself in the hospital because she had COVID, or God knows, because who knows if they truly um giving the right diagnose. This is it's something that I don't think we need to forget. We don't need to kind of like think like, oh, whatever, let's move on with our life and pretend like nothing happened. This is a wake-up call, huge wake-up call. And in 2022, when I had my son, I cannot even tell you how many times I went through, as a mom, you want the best for your child. It's just something that comes up for you. And as a mother, as a parent, and I was going through just like formula, normal formula in United States. The amount of toxic ingredients that have been put in there, they're being pediatrician approved, FDA approved. There are not need to be in a human body, especially not an infant. And they approved. Diapers, they have chemicals in them. They're touching their skin. Your skin is the biggest organ of your body that absorb whatever you put onto it. That is, as you said, pediatrician approved. Creams that, if I will tell you the ingredients of that being approved by the cosmetic, I don't know. It's just insane. So again, going into the food, going into the water, going into what we put on our skin, what we put in our bodies, even the air that we breathe, everything has toxins in it. And you wonder to yourself, how does government allow it? If the government has the best intentions for us as human beings, why would they allow those toxins to be inside our food, inside our water, inside the air that we breathe, inside the water that we drink and we wash ourselves? How is this okay? And that is where I woke up in 2022 again and start realizing, wow, the government doesn't have my back. The government doesn't care about me and you. They have their own agenda. And it's heartbreaking and it's soul crashing in some way, because all these years when you pay taxes and all the things that you do, you realize like, wow, when you think the money that you pay goes towards the good things, and it's not. And I can tell you what's happening in Israel, specifically now in 2024. That's another huge wake-up call for a lot of Israelis, because what happened in October 7th was not just something that was created by Hamas. It was something that, and of course, it's not 100% been publicly, let's say, proven, but it's very obvious that there was something very, how would I put in words that make sense? Very unusual, okay? What happened there, where we didn't even react for 8 hours, that we allow this to happen, that the commanders and the people that were supposed to protect us were not there to protect us. If anything, they allowed us to happen in the intensity that it happened. Why 80 million in shekels, right? Which is the biggest chunk of the percentage that all the taxpayers goes towards, is the security, is the FDI. All the money goes to the army. And here you are, when this happened, soldiers didn't have food, they didn't have their equipment, they didn't have all the things, then just the basic things to just be there and protect their citizens. But you know who was there? The community. the people, they were helping one another. They were creating the food. They were cooking, baking, going to all these army bases. They were finding and collecting money to get them the equipment that they need in order to do their job. So where the money went, what happened there? But as divided Israel was, where we had a far right, far left, and somewhere around the middle, right? That is where people woke up to the fact like, hey, maybe we don't need this government because we have each other. We can create the food, we can create the resources, we can create everything we need when time comes. And that is what united Israel in a way that nothing else would have united. And I'm here to be a voice. And if something resonates within you and you know in your soul that it's right, it's not about that I'm trying to push an agenda. I'm trying to say something that, you know, to create this like conspiracy theory conversation. It's not about that. I want you to start thinking. I want you to stop accepting things as they are and start questioning why I am doing this, why I need to work 9 to 5, why I'm working and paying so much taxes upon taxes upon taxes and upon taxes. And here we are, we have still homeless people, we have hunger, we have poisoned food. Like why I need to pay extra for organic food where it needs to be only organic food. Why our water is not clean, why we have microplastics everywhere. Why? Why are we doing it to ourselves? Why are we okay with that? Why are we trying to put a label on each other and call you either right or left or this or that? That is what creates a division. This illusion that you are better than others or this way of thinking is better than others. There's no right way. Until we don't wake up to the fact that it's not about labels. It's not about choosing an agenda and sticking to it and fighting for it and really kind of like make those best arguments. It's not about that. It's about understanding that we have to wake up. We have to see what's happening and stop pretending like everything is normal and we're just kind of living our normal life. Nothing is normal. We cannot go back. As humanity, we are waking up to one of the best, most historic, most important times of humanity. People wanted to go and do ayahuasca. People want to go and talk to the dead. People want to go and channel entities and go into these places to avoid reality, thinking that is where they're going to get the answers. That is better than what's here. Let me tell you, being here as a soul in this time right now, it's an honor. It's a privilege. It's something that billions of souls wanted to be part of. And you are here listening to this, and you're here watching this, and understanding that truly want to talk about spiritual awakening and doing the spiritual work. This is the hardest place to do the spiritual work. Not in the, when everything is sunshine and rainbows, where everybody's love and light. Here, where the contrast is so big, is so contradicting, it's so painful, it's so much, it's so intense. There is where you're going to get your peace. That is where you're going to get your awakening. That is where the spiritual awakening truly happens, right here, right now. So instead of trying to avoid reality, try thinking like this is not what it should be and we should be a certain way, embrace that. but don't be pretending like it's normal. Like we don't need to do any adjustments, that we need to say what we feel. It's okay if you don't feel that it's normal. It's okay if you don't feel like the life and the person and the people that were around you, they're no longer there and no longer serving you. It's no longer what you want to be or experience in your life. That is okay. Be authentic to yourself. Be true to yourself. Say how you feel. Don't pretend that what is happening around you is normal just to know you're not offending anybody. If anybody offends from your truth, that is not you, my dear. As long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're offending anybody in a malicious way, and you're just saying what's in your heart, you never know who you're affecting. In one word, in one sentence, in one story can awaken for somebody else and give somebody else the permission to say, hey, like, thank you for saying that, because I thought I was crazy because I had all these thoughts in my head and I'm like, I don't feel good in my job anymore. I don't feel good not seeing my kids anymore. I don't feel good eating this food. I don't feel good going drinking beer with my friends at the weekend and pretend like everything is normal. Like it doesn't fulfill me anymore. It doesn't feel like good anymore. Like I want the deep stuff. I want the real stuff. I want the real conversations. I want the real connections. I want the real life. I want the freedom that I want. But it's not about escaping. It's about choosing to do it within the reality that we live in. That is where awakening happens. In the pain, in the chaos. So if you feel that you're awakening right now and people around you have no idea what's happening to you. And I know for me, my friends, my mom and dad really thought I lost it. Like I lost it. And it's okay. It's okay. Because as you see, we're shifting. It's almost like we're living in this parallel life and parallel reality at the same time. And what a lot of spiritual leaders say, it's where we kind of shifting from the 3D into the 5D. We're moving into Aquarius age from Pisces, right? We're moving into completely different realm. And this in between is painful because some people are going to be staying in this realm. They're going to be staying in this reality, in the simulation of the 3D. It's still going to be existing. But those who are shifting into the 5D, those who are moving into this new dimension, people that are moving into this new way of living and being and experiencing the reality, there are not going to be a lot of them. And it's a painful place because you're saying goodbye to your old self. You're saying goodbye to all the years and time you spend proving something to someone or doing things. You're saying goodbye to the people you love the most that probably not going to be part of this new world. And it's hard. But you know what's harder? To live a life and pretend to live a life or be in relationships that are no longer feeling good and putting this mask on and forcing yourself to wake up to another day, to another paycheck, to another small talk that you have no interest in, to pretend that the food that you eat is okay and how you feel anxiety and you feel sick all the time is normal, and feeling like all those wars that is happening around us and the corruption and all the things that happen, like it's normal. It's not. But all this chaos is going to bring us to our true collective awareness of awakening that is so needed. So I just wanted to validate those people are listening to this end. And I salute you and love you and send you so much love to know that you're not alone. to know that it is scary, but we got each other. We truly got each other. And don't be scared to say, to express how you feel. Don't be scared to be controversial. Don't be scared to be the black sheep of the family, because you give validation for other people to question things, to see things differently, and not just take things as they are. And as we see, everything is collapsing around us. Like, I don't know, you probably live under a rock if you don't feel it, but everything is collapsing. You feel it, like your soul feels it. And I know you feel it. And it's scary because it's like, where are we heading? What is going on? I know it's not working, like, but what out in the other side of it? And what's on the other side of it is what you choose to create, because you no longer are going to have the government, the people, like the external things that you lived in order to save you. Nobody's going to save you. You got to save yourself, and from the place of creating the life you want within yourself. And this is why I'm so passionate about effortlessly abundant life, is because of that. Is because knowing when you have the tools to create the peace within you, to create the love within you, the abundance within you, and you can create a world that is a reflection of you, that feels good, that feels like everything. Nothing can scare you because you always have you. You can always depend on you and source and create this deep connection with source. I don't care if you're religion, you're spiritual, whatever you call it. But if you don't have a connection with a higher being that is the source that created you and me, that makes your heart beat right now, that makes your food digest right now, that makes you fall in love without question, that makes you breathe. If you don't have a relationship with that, it's going to be very, very hard for you, because things are not going to make sense. Things are not going to make sense if they already don't make sense. But whenever you have this deep trust and connection to source, everything is okay. Everything is okay. So with that, my loves, I'm going to end because I can talk about this for hours. And this is truly the first time that I'm talking about it so openly. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to address. This is the platform. We're going deep. We're moving and shifting, and we're quantum leaping into the real conversations, into the real things. And I know some of you think maybe it's crazy, but all I ask you is to really go deeper, ask the questions, and not be afraid to be the weirdo, to be the person that is like, that it put things in a uncomfortable position, let's put it that way, and choosing what's right for you. It's something your older self, higher self will thank you in the end of the day, because when you're truly honoring yourself, you're truly owning who you are and what you believe in, there's no better feeling. There's truly no better feeling. And we truly want to be part of a tribe. We always want to be belonging. But as I said, when you stop wanting to belong more than wanting to be authentic and to be real and true to who you really are and what you truly believe and know that is true, you're free. And that is what freedom truly is. It's not the yacht. It's not the living on an island. It's not just making millions of dollars. That's not freedom. Freedom is it's truly a way of living, a way of being. Freedom of expressing who you are, freedom of being and doing what you want, and choosing the life that you want. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As I said, go to my Effortlessly Abundant Life in my Instagram, DM me if you have any more questions, any more comments. I love talking with you and love going deeper and as I said, like, this is a heavy subject. I know it's a lot. And I just really want to, as I said, validate and let you know you're not alone. You're really not alone in this. And if you feel this way, I'm with you. And you found your home, you found your place, you found your people. And I love you guys so much. And I'll talk to you in our next episode. So if you love this episode, go ahead, share it on your social media, tag me at Effortlessly Abundant Life. And I'm going to send you a free hypnosis to attract more of the what it is that you want, if it's abundance, if it's love. And also, rate us on podcasts on my Instagram, excuse me, on my Spotify or Apple, so more people like us can listen to this and we can truly expand our community. And with that, my loves, have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in our next episode. Bye.